Now let's talk today why you should not go into the IT field. There's a lot of buzzwords around happening. There is you can see a lot of things appearing in the ads, for example, that you need to go in IT because there is a lot of reasons. For example, there is very easy to start working in the IT. It's very easy to get, let's say, high salaries, so it's top earning profession, for example, that it's claimed to be very flexible, that you can work around the world from any location, which is perfect. It sounds great, especially when you take a look at the ads, on these smiley faces around, which claim that you're gonna be that easy one of that guys who working from the beach or whatever. So yeah, let's take a look from this thingy from other side. Basically, I'm a person who's in IT for around basically half of my life, so it's about 15 years. I worked I studied first in the computer science, and I work in the different, let's say, type of the companies, outsourcing out stuff and product companies. I worked from different countries, as a tax resident, so I changed the countries. And yeah, I would say that I saw different, let's say, type of the businesses on the one side. On the other side, I started as a junior developer as well. I was studying also software engineering and the networking as well, and passed my career from junior to senior, from senior to the team lead, from team lead to the management positions. Also did passing from the senior to team lead few times, actually, at least, because of the countries change and so on. So I would tell that my experience probably can already, let's say, something what I can share, and tell that not everything what you can see in the ads is actually the truth. And let's go one by one. I mean, I'm not gonna cover absolutely everything, but at least a little bit top of the iceberg. So, top earning profession myth. Oh yeah, it's correct. Under certain limits, that's gonna be correct. But very important thing for you to understand that on the one side, career is not gonna be that straightforward. So you don't have possibility to pass some kind of special certificate which would tell that now you are senior, now you're team lead, whatever. Doesn't matter which paper you have. I don't know. You can be Microsoft certified. You can be, I don't know, Cisco certified. That's wonderful. It's great. Paper shows that probably you managed to pass under certain limits in particular environment, that the tests, and it seems that you have a theoretical knowledge, maybe even practical knowledge, depending on the complexity of the test and how deep this test goes. But still, I have seen and I have interviewed a bunch of candidates which had a lot of papers. At least I didn't recheck actually how, if those papers were official ones. But in most cases, paper still stays as a paper. Main thingy which gonna be evaluated at the end during the interview is your knowledge. And this is place where there is no real, let's say, rules. In one company you can be junior, in another company based on their criteria you might become a senior, in another company you might appear to be a team lead, and things like that. So it's not that straightforward, and that's the problem, that there is no really straightforward path and criteria which can tell which level you are. There is some kind of subjective evaluations based on the experience from the person who is interviewing you, and that's it in most cases. Of course, in the bigger enterprises where you need to pass a bunch of stages before you can enter to particular level, might be a little bit more, let's say, objective. But again, even here things would be different from time to time depending with whom you're talking. And that's, I would tell, under certain limits, it makes your path pretty much blurry. And of course, different position mean different also salary expectations. And there are situations which I have seen, for example, that pretty much junior people or like developers wanted to leave the company, and then the management decided, okay, just how to hold them. Maybe let's give them another label, maybe a little bit few more thousand to on the top of their salary to make them happy and to let them stay. And I seen that, for example, some junior level people managed to be team leads. They were interviewing people, and candidates into the company, and yeah, guess whom they were interviewing at the end? They could, I don't know, build up the team, like junior developer with the title of the team lead, managed to build up the team around itself, where he was searching for people which obviously, unfortunately, in most cases worse than this person, was throwing away everyone who was better. And yeah, in this case it's pretty much hard sometimes to actually rearrange this type of the company or the team, especially if you accidentally landed up into this team, I don't know, for rechecking how they work or efficiency of their work, so on. And this is where you can find out that yes, not always title represents the level, and not always salary also represents the level. And that's the thing. So on the one side, we can tell that yes, software engineering might be top earning profession or top earning in different countries, but on the other side, it's still pretty much blurry market itself. There could be a lot of things behind, and you might appear to be a senior who is earning in particular company as a junior. And it might be a bad surprise for you, for example, if company has kind of in the contract clauses which do not allow you to share salary. Of course, yeah, under beer, like with colleagues, so on, you can know afterwards how much, like different people, at least which ranges we are talking about, but might appear that, especially when you move to another countries or so, might appear that you actually earn less than others. So it's top earning. Yes and no. It really depends how good you are in sales, how good you can sell yourself on the one side, and on the other side, how good also people around you, like how they manage to make up, let's say, their portfolio and sell themselves. Then, yeah, I mean, under certain limits, let's assume you sell yourself very well, you have very good knowledge, perfect, but still your career gonna slow down when you reach the senior levels. The reasons is pretty much simple. As soon as you reach senior level, you don't have that many different directions where to go. It's either management or maybe some kind of architectural technical management, so on. So I of course have seen some people who were going to the product management as well, but that's kind of change of the direction, I would tell, under certain, let's say, limits. So what to do? I mean, basically the rule is simple. I mean, in most cases, team is, I don't know, around 10 persons. Let's assume that average team has 10 persons per team, and you need to have one team lead per team. You need to have one product owner or product manager per team, and that's it, basically. Then, of course, like if you try to build up hierarchy and a tree, then, for example, you might still need one CTO, for example, per company or per big, let's say, domain or like very big set of products. So as you see, like tree going very quickly to the top, like where you need like less and less people at the end. So out of 10, for example, developers, you might get only one team lead, and out of, I don't know, 10 team leads, for example, you might get one CTO, for example. I mean, yeah, there's different scenarios might be available, but in general, the rule is simple. You don't need that many team leads as developers at the end. And if you have a company where you have same amount of team leads as developers, then most probably have a problem in organization at the end. So that's the simple rule and simple math at the end. So you don't need that many management positions, and in most cases, go into the management position is one of the ways how to actually start to earn more. So that's the reason that at some point you start to slow down in a career. Of course, jumping between different companies might help to increase, let's say, your, payslip at the end, but you will find out that under certain, let's say, conditions, then the payslip already doesn't change way too much. So you found that, let's say, top line, and then next, let's say, change most probably will cover the inflation rate, and maybe you will get a little bit on the top at the end. So this is how it looks from seller point of view, like when we talk about the position wise. Then, of course, as soon as I mentioned, I jumped in between different countries, or at least lived as a different countries. You need to keep in mind, for example, like tax system in the country. For example, yeah, I'm knowledgeable in Europe or across the Europe, yeah, and like most of the European countries have progressive tax system, which means that more you earn, more you pay then in the tax. Yes, under some limit with some numbers you will reach the top level of the, let's say, tax, so wage, and then you cannot already, let's say, you get more, but like at least tax rate is not increasing anymore, until of course you have someone in your family who is working, and then if, like for example, your wife working, and then like to summarize your, let's say, family income, you might appear that again your tax is increasing even more. But it's a slightly different story anyway. So one way or another, like more you earn, more you need to pay. Some social things like the taxes itself, some insurances and things around that. So more you earn, more you pay at the end. So in some countries, for example, Netherlands, Germany as well, there are particular numbers in your payslip which not recommended to pass unless you're gonna, let's say, jump to really next level. If I remember properly, for example, in the Netherlands it's around 65, 62k, then it might appear that actually it's not already that interesting to have, for example, 69k comparing to a slightly lower number, just because you'll get into your hands less, even if on the paper you have more. Just because of the tax, it will eat all the rest and all the difference, because you managed to jump into the next level of the tax rate. So this is what you need, another thing which you need to remember. Then of course, sometimes you can see the salaries varied expectations. At least from employer point of view. For example, like I was interviewing a bunch of people, and this is what I already mentioned, that for example you could get some kind of candidate who is applying on the senior position, but when you start to interview this person, you realize that he's not a senior or she's not a senior. I mean, it's just rather on junior position, but applying on a senior and have very high salary expectation, because this person had a label, or in the previous company this person had a label of senior, then he opened, I don't know, Glassdoors or any other site, Monster maybe, Report and whatever, and this person managed to see that, okay, for senior right now the right number maybe, I don't know, 80k. And then this person just goes and applies to another company as a senior, because title is the same, and of course put in the expectation like what he managed to find out in the internet. Well, yeah, good luck. You'd have on the interview person always the junior level, who is applying on the senior, with the junior knowledge and with very high expectations. Wonderful, you managed to find it out, you will cancel this candidate, and that's it. But there is a small thing here. This person will find out his employer at the end. I mean, that's the fun thing, and this is what I have seen in some of the companies. So, like juniors with very high expectations, they still sometimes manage to find out the right company, which didn't manage to evaluate the real level, and they will pay him this money. And here we come then to the next problem: salaries dampen. The problem is, what I also have seen and found, that sometimes employers, they have, let's say, pile of developers who are pushing their product further. And then, of course, like a bunch of employers, different companies, they are speaking with each other, for example, like C-level rounds and some kind of, let's say, topics to discuss, like challenges, so on. And of course, they also like sometimes sharing, like, I don't know, between the lines, like what is happening, the efficiency and things like that. And what is, they might appear or turn on at the end, that they overpay too much. Like, for example, they see velocity how fast their product rolling versus how fast product rolling on other company. And then they check like, okay, like average payslip. I mean, they never operate with direct numbers, for example. I mean, it makes no sense, but you can just indirectly correlate. And they see that, yes, now seems that we are overpaying to our department a lot. And I have seen some companies were jumping from one edge to another one. On the one side, they had juniors with senior titles and overpaid. What they decide to do then, okay, let's try to fire up these guys, do the layoffs, and give a try to hire the cheapest ones. And because, I mean, why they need to pay more or double or triple if, for example, those company like just nearby doing a similar business and they pay 3 times less and they have similar speed of product development. Yeah, this is what is happening, and this is happening quite often, and what I see right now is happening even more often. Also, I have seen companies other way around who were in the past dictated, or let's say their criteria of choosing of the candidate were just cheaper is better. Yeah, also same issue. They might start to be drawn in the amount of problems and issues which their junior developers with senior labels manage to implement, and then they realize that their product rolling slower and slower and slower. They can try to use different methodologies, like you can mention, I don't know, agile, whatever, like Scrum, Kanban, any kind of thingy. But it doesn't work then. I mean, you can try to be agile, but you cannot. You need to roll product quickly, but you cannot. And then they start to jump again to another, let's say, direction. They try to find the most expensive candidate because maybe if you pay more, this person gonna be good. If they're lucky, they will manage to find out expensive but good one. That one who would actually try to shake the boat and move it, let's say, further into the right direction, said, okay, now it seems that we are overpaid, but at least we know how to close the gaps. Worst case scenario, these guys would pay double or triple for this particular guy, and guess who's gonna be landed? That junior developer whom you rejected recently, with junior knowledge, with very high expectations, and yeah, he will try to manage this team. He will demonstrate in worst case scenario that he's not more efficient than guys who are already on the board. And yeah, then like employer realized that, okay, then what the hell, I pay like here 3 times more and I don't see better efficiency. I even see that things are getting worse. So yeah, this is like kind of a circle. I mean, I'll cover it probably a little bit later because this is a very interesting topic at the end, but just wanted to put a little bit more at the top. Why sometimes salaries looks, on the one side there is a damping happening because some people are, let's say, coming either with a low expectations because they came from other countries, they have no idea about local market, or there are people, let's say, or companies actually, they are not willing to pay anymore because they already had the problems in the past. So, as you see, at some point there will be issues and you will find out these issues. You will see them and most probably you're already facing some of them. And I mean, more further it goes in time, I see this bubble is like, let's say, gonna blow pretty soon with all this, let's say, a lot of people who, with less knowledge, with lower quality, getting higher expectations and get annoying more and more some of the employers, and employers also start to talk right now about efficiency because this post-COVID times, let's say higher inflation rates, lower margins at the end, also causing them to think how to actually make at least similar amount of money as it was before the COVID times or things like that.